Kelly. It's been good. She's coming with me though. Don't worry. She's gonna get bubble wrapped and she's gonna come. What's up, guys? It is T. Kyle, and it is all happening. If you were here last week, I told you guys a little situation about moving, and a week has gone by, and it is happening. As you can see, I have a stack of bins here. There's another stack of bins here. Not sponsored, but there's this company called Gorilla Bins, and you can rent like a full, this sounds like I just like, good morning everyone, here's a plug. No, I promise you I'm not, there's no whatever. I just think it's like, I'm very into entrepreneurs and small businesses and like Shark Tank ideas. And you just like rent these bins that stack, and you rent them for 2 weeks and then they come pick them back up. I mean, it's like such a brilliant, smart idea to do in the city. I don't know, is it just me? I've never heard of this because I haven't moved in 7 years. But yeah, so 20 bins to fill up. Ugh. As you can see, half my desk stuff is packed up. Kelly Dodd is back. She, you know, had a temporary moment behind Brittany, but I thought, because I haven't wrapped her in bubble wrap yet, I would just give her one final moment, because I have no idea what my new filming setup will be, or situation will be, or layout. I don't know. We're gonna worry about that later. Yeah, this is my final weekend chat here in this apartment that I have lived in for the past 7 years of my life. And I have like mixed feelings about it. Okay, so let me just do a quick recap for you guys of the past 2 weeks of my life and how this has just been like, I literally felt like the rug was pulled out underneath me. It has flown. But with that said, I also do, and which I'll talk about after, but I do feel like things that are supposed to happen for you in life, they happen smoothly without hiccups, and you don't have to fight for them. Well, let me change that. You don't have to force it. Fighting for something is good. Not forcing something is when, you know, I feel like it's not meant to be. If you're like, you know, trying to fit square into a circle was no, you know what I mean? When you're trying to force something to happen, with this, it's just been like, so, not last week, this current week, the week before that, on a Wednesday night, we had a 14-hour work day, and you know, we had a little bit of downtime, and my friends that I work with, you know, we were all looking at apartments and looking at listings, and my friend found one. He's like, oh my God, this looks perfect. It looks huge. And I was like, okay, so we called the guy. This is at like 9 o'clock on a Wednesday. We called the guy, I set up an appointment for the following day, Thursday. Thursday, I go at noon to see this place. I walk in. It was huge. It was massive, brand new kitchen, huge closets. I was like, I think I need to do this. And I just got this overwhelming feeling to just go for it. So I went for it. Application, coins dropped, Thursday night, all good. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we caught up. I gave you guys a little weekend chat. So we had our little weekend chat, and I was just nervous all weekend. I was like, what am I doing? You know, I just felt like this is out there. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's not meant to be. Monday, the new landlord phone called my employer to verify that like she's got a job and she's working, girl. And then still didn't hear anything. So Monday night, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And then Tuesday of this current, you know, a couple days ago, I got the phone call. You've been approved. Everything's good. Everything's great. We're ready to sign the lease on Friday. And I was just like, so Friday, which was yesterday, you guys, let me just tell you, I feel like I lived an entire week yesterday alone. Let me just rewind a little bit. So Tuesday, I find out that it's like approved. So Tuesday night, I sort of was still in shell shock and was just kind of processing it. And I was like, okay, this is definitely happening. We're definitely gonna go for this. We're gonna make the move. It's gonna happen. Now I gotta like do everything else now. So Wednesday morning, first thing in the morning, I called my current landlord. They were not happy, which I get because I'm breaking my lease here. But I just like put good energy out there, and I was like, and I was very nice and I was super kind, and I offered, like, I gave them like a 2-week schedule that I could be here to show the apartment. And I said, like, whatever you want me to do, I will list it. I will post it on social media. I like literally offered up whatever, however I could help the situation, because, you know, and you really can't, it's like landlords, if you break a lease, they can really, like, they can come hard at you. And so I sent this like a formal official letter, and they called back and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry for, like, you know, we really appreciate this, and I understand that you're trying to make this super easy, and we really appreciate that, and this is super helpful. So I was like, yes, absolutely. I would never like leave you guys high and dry. I'm not just moving out tomorrow. You know what I mean? So always be nice to people who, you know, you live, whose buildings you live in, who are doing your customer service, who are serving you food. Like, you treat those people with respect always, unless, you know, there's some exceptions, but you know what I'm saying. Wednesday, they call back and they're like, so this is all happening in the morning, like drama. They were like really mad. I sent my formal notice that I'm leaving. They call back and we're like, okay, you know, we'll work something out, whatever. They call back again and they're like, we actually have another apartment in the building that is open, and there's an agent that's coming to see it. Can we show them your apartment at the same time? And I was like, yeah, sure. So this is that they're like, they want to come at in between 2 and 3:30. So I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, you know, my apartment's clean, you know, it's fine, whatever. So I leave, I go to the diner, and I had a full-on meltdown in fucking Galaxy Diner. And it was kind of like glam because no one cared. Like, literally in New York, you can sob on the sidewalk and no one cares. Like, I was sobbing. I got a Philly cheesesteak and some coffee and a Diet Coke. And I was like having a meltdown. I was like, what is going on with my life? And I had this like moment where I was just sitting there and I was like, I just want like the universe to send me a sign that this is like, that this move is okay. And that moving to this area is going to be okay. And what, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, I just want a sign. Like, if someone send me a sign, you know what I mean? This is almost like a mini story in this like weekend chat, but so I'm sitting there, I just like sobbed and was like having a meltdown. And I just said to myself, like, I just want a sign that this is the right move. And so you guys know, I believe, and I talked about this last week, that I believe in like things that are coincidental, they happen for a reason. You know, when you see things or you get whispers in life, like, I'm all about that. I'm very in tune with it. I'm very in tune with my intuition. It has guided me for my entire life. I've always listened to my gut. I've always listened to things that I've seen around me, signs and whatever. So I'm sitting there, and prequel to this story. So I go to a Dunkin' Donuts every single day, as you guys know. Not sponsored. And every single day, the occasion of like sometimes, you know, if I'm like late or whatever, or too early, there is an older woman who is always there at this Dunkin' Donuts I go to every single day. Like, every single day I go, in the morning, she is sitting there with her coffee. I either see her sitting, or I see her walking there, or I see her leaving. Like, I always see this little old lady every single time I go to Dunkin' Donuts. And I never really like have made eye contact with her, or like, you know, sometimes you see the same person every day and you're like, oh, hey, you know, whatever. No, nothing. Like, she's just oblivious to the world. Now, this old lady is also, she's not handicapped, but she has a cane and she has like a hunch. So she has trouble walking, but she still walks. And I see her like, you know, with her bag and her cane, and she's like walking down the block, or she's like opening a door by herself. Like, she's good. She's got like her little routine, and, you know, but she's, you know, she moves slow, and she does seem like, you know, she has a hard time, you know, moving around and being mobile. But She's always there. She's, you know, that is going to be me in whatever many years. I'm like, I will still get to Dunkin' Donuts. Whatever I have to do to get to Dunkin' Donuts, I will get to Dunkin' Donuts, right? So I see this lady all the time. Now, I'm not going to give locations here, but let me just tell you that the Dunkin' I go to is like it's over that way. Okay, it's a couple blocks that way, right? A few blocks. And if you guys don't know New York, blocks are shorter and avenues are like longer. So an avenue is like probably the length of like 4 blocks. So it's like, you know, the avenues are longer, the blocks are shorter. So back to Wednesday, me in this diner, crying, eating a Philly cheesesteak, chic, asking for someone to send me a sign. Now, the diner that I'm at is 12-ish blocks and an avenue away from the Dunkin' that I always go to, that I always see this lady at, right? So it's a hike. Even for me, I was like, this is a hike. And it was downpouring. So it is downpouring, like full on. My shoes were soaked, like a downpour. Not just like a spritz, but like a downpour. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just want a sign that this is gonna be okay and like whatever. And in walks this little old lady with her cane, hunched over, with her poncho on and her bag, walks in the door. And I was like, how did you get here? Like, and I know that sounds not like that. Not gonna miss that. I know that's not rude, right? Like, I just was like, it's pouring rain and it's so far away from Dunkin' Donuts that I'm like, how did you get here? And I was like, it was so strange. And she like came in, she sat down, and it was like so funny. She was like, I just want a big glass of Merlot and a Caesar salad. And I just and then it instantly, I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, I smiled and she didn't see me at all. Like she didn't notice that I was like staring at her, but I was just like, it was exactly what I had asked for. I was like, I just want a sign that like me relocating to a new area is the right move and that it's gonna be okay. And walks in this lady that I see all, like every single day when I go to Dunkin', she's there. And then she was in this, like out of all the frickin' 8 million people, isn't it 8 million people they say, that live in this island, this one old lady, same time as me, at this diner that is probably 10, 12, 15 minute, for me, and I walk fast as hell, 10, 12 minute walk for me. I don't know how long it took her, and I'm not trying to be rude, but it just really was like, okay, I felt like that was a sign. And then I started crying again. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be okay. She's still gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? I was so stupid. So that was Wednesday. That was only Wednesday. Then I leave the diner and I'm like still crying, but it was raining. So I was like, oh, no one's gonna notice. And I called back my current management company and they're like, yeah, we have an application down on your apartment. The person that saw it at 2 o'clock loved it and they put an application down. And I was like, oh my God. So then I came back here and I was like, what? I got my apartment. Someone else already has my new apartment now. And then I had another meltdown. And then yesterday, Friday, up early, signed my new lease, found out that the person who put down the application was approved. So they will be moving in here on March 1st. Enjoy the dogs, whoever you are. I've got my bins, I've got everything, you know, and today I need to pack everything up. So it's been a wild week and 2 days. I mean, this is me injecting a new recorded section. I realized while I was editing that the video clip that was supposed to be here got deleted because the battery shut off in the middle of it and it didn't save. So I'm just gonna fill in like a small moment right here so that it like makes sense what I was talking about. But basically what I was saying was after this entire week process had happened and I was thinking about it and you know, people were saying like, oh, well, you're just moving because there's dogs upstairs? Like, is that it? And I was like, no, like it's so much bigger than that. That was just the final layer of the cake, if you will. It really is. The biggest reason is living next to these schools, and my apartment is wedged in between a schoolyard here and a schoolyard there that are out all day long and making noise all day long, 5 days a week, from 9 a.m. early in the morning until 6 p.m. And that was the number one reason, and that has been a problem for the longest time. Some days it doesn't bother me. Some days, one of my, you know, someone who's close to me, who I've complained to about this, had reminded me. They were like, I just want you to remember how stressed and how angry it makes you when you're sick or when you've had a really long day of work and you know the next day you have to deal with screaming for 8 hours. And I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I always just push it off. So that is like the number one reason. There's other reasons as well. One of them is like a harassment sort of issue, which I'm not going to get into because it's like, it's fine. It's not really a big deal anymore. I'm like, you know, forgetting it, putting it behind me. But like that was something, someone trying to break into our like front lobby, smashing the windows open, the elevator breaking, you know, all these things kept going wrong. And then this situation above me was like the final, literally topping of the icing on the cake, the top of the pyramid, the whatever you want to call it. So it has been in the works. I almost moved once before 2 years ago. I almost didn't re-sign my lease. Like literally the past 3 years, I was like not wanting to do it, but I was just too scared to move. So those are all the reasons why. And then now moving to this next part, which is continuing my original weekend chat, is talking about why sleep and the noise and everything, like why I'm actually taking it seriously now and why I'm making the move for myself and for how I can sustain my schedule and sleeping and etc. Now, switch to the clip that I filmed 3 hours ago. Whoop, my battery died, we're all good. What I was saying was, you know, I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? If I want to do this for the next 3 years, which I do, I've done it now for 2 years at my job. It will be 2 years in April. And if I want to go another 3 years and stay healthy and stay, you know, keep my diet good and my sleep good and my stress under control, because that was the problem that I had last year was the lack of sleep and the sleep problems were affecting my eating and my diet was affecting my liver, and my liver was all fucked up. And then all of that combined was just making me gain weight and just feel gross, and stress was, you know, that obviously like I was gaining weight, so that causes stress. I wasn't sleeping, so that causes stress on top of just, you know, work can be stressful. It's a live TV show. You know, I'm not saying that it's bad. Like sometimes stress is a good thing. For me, I think being under pressure and having, you know, the weight of like a live TV show on my shoulders and like the success of how it does on social media and in the digital space being my responsibility is stressful, but it's a good pressure for me. I enjoy that pressure of like challenging myself, you know, year over year, like how can we make this better? But like all of that combined is just not sustainable. And I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? If I found myself slipping into old habits and I was just like, you know what? This is just not for me. And if something is not working for you, change it up. And I think the biggest thing was that, you know, changing your diet or like, you know, your wardrobe or making like a change in your life that's not too massive is fine, but like I knew that this was gonna, changing where I live is huge. The biggest thing for me is that, and this is maybe going a little deep, but whatever, you guys, this is the space where you guys get like me going deep and like a look into, you know, my world outside of just being like memes and Tumblr and like whatever. You know, for the past, I would say, decade of my life, I haven't really felt like I've had a home. And, you know, maybe this will be another story, but with like the situation, like with my family, the house that I grew up in, that I lived in, like, oh, I'm getting nervous about how much I share. So basically, I was pushed out of my house because my mom is a hoarder, and I was like physically did not have anywhere to stay. I physically was pushed out of this house because it's just not a healthy environment. And, you know, coming home for holidays and whatever just like wasn't a thing, or like going to stay for a weekend just wasn't a thing because the space was overtaken. So I very much felt like I was pushed out. And so when I moved here 7 years ago, this was an opportunity for me to create my own home and to create a space that I feel clean and safe. And, you know, I mean, really that's it. I mean, clean and safe, you know, and this has been that home for me. This apartment has kept me safe. I have felt comfortable here. I have felt protected and clean, and you know, it's hard to let that go. And to make that decision was the hardest part for me, because now I know that when I make this move and I'm in this new space, I'm gonna feel like a stranger again. You know, I'm gonna feel like I'm not home again. And so that feeling is hard for me, but at the same time, I also know that I've gotten really comfortable here, and it's like I can find myself coming home and being like, I'm just gonna sleep all day, or I'm just gonna sleep on my couch and play video games, or, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like almost like a comfort that has kind of made it harder to start a new project or start a new thing, you know? And so I feel by like pulling the rug under my feet and making this change, it will, you know, spark a new life in me. Because I know that when I did that and when I moved here 7 years ago, that was like the height of reality TV gifts, and, you know, everything that I was doing. Like I worked here all night, and like I just was like constantly coming up with like new ideas. You know, I felt this like spark. And so I want to bring that back. And I think by making a change and switching up my environment and making a change to my routine that I've been so used to for the longest time will hopefully do that. And I'm hoping that this new space will be quiet and clean, and I won't have any problems. And that is all I ask of the universe, is that I will be a good tenant. I will be quiet. I will be clean. I will be respectful of everyone around me. And I hope that I get that in return. And yeah, I can get my sleep back on track and get my diet back on track, because I have put on a little bit of weight again. Not a whole lot, like 7 pounds, but like, you know, that shit can fluctuate. And I've been so stressed the past 2 weeks that like, oh, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I thought I was gonna cry in this video because I started crying when I went to Dunkin' Donuts this morning. You know, sometimes you just gotta like let it out. Like crying isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes, you know, when you just feel like, and I think it was the one good thing I will say that has made this so much easier is a couple weeks ago, I did a purge of objects and things that I don't want. And I built this new headboard that was a little more organized, that had drawers in it. And so I've already gone through most of my stuff. I just went through all these drawers under here. I just redid them a few weeks ago. So, you know, I really did already have a clean sweep. So I did another clean sweep yesterday, and really it's just gonna be a matter of boxing everything in these bins. And I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff too. So this chair I'm sitting in right now is gonna go. One of these desks is gonna go. My bed frame, my box, what's that, box spring is gonna go. Yeah, there's just a lot that I'm like getting rid of that I'm not gonna bring with me. And yeah, so that's really what I have to do today. And I can't believe this is gonna be my last weekend chat like here. I will see next week. You know, I'm moving on Friday, and then, you know, depending on the situation, I'll see if I get to this, you know, filming another weekend chat next week. My computer's gotta be packed up, and the internet, so that I can upload and edit, you know, other things that I'm like not really worrying about right now. If I can't get to it, I can't get to it. But we'll see. If not, I'm definitely planning on filming. I want to film my empty apartment, film the moving process, filming my new apartment empty, and sort of, you know, doing that whole thing to document it. I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, it's so weird. If you guys want to see more of a live on the go process of everything, definitely follow me on Instagram. I'm like really enjoying doing Instagram stories and like documenting more of my life, and not necessarily with videos of me and videos of like what I'm doing, but I love taking like images of housewives and pop queens and like relating them to things that are going on. So if you are into that and you're on Instagram, definitely give me a follow there. And you know, I'll be getting my keys next week during the week, and then going to check to make sure they work. And so I'll show you guys like the empty apartment and whatever. And the sun just came out, or the sun is coming out because it's raining today. But so yeah, we'll end this video and end this chapter, which is so crazy to me because I realized that I've done this before. And the reason why I want to share this and the reason why I want to document it is because, you know, I know that there are people who watch my videos and they, you know, they kind of get, I feel like sometimes there's some people who get like inspired, and they were inspired by the story I shared years ago when I decided to quit my job and take this huge risk and, you know, try freelancing and you know, give up, you know, a stable job with a good salary to try something completely new and crazy that, you know, and I've done this before. When I quit my job, I left a really good salary, and I literally slashed that into a quarter. You know, like when I was a freelancer, like I did not really make that much money. So I've done this before. I've taken a risk before, and you know, I learned a lot. It was a really good change for me. And so I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to get rid of a lot of stuff that I just don't need anymore, that I don't want anymore, to make a change. I'm gonna be 30 this year. I feel like I'm going into adulthood. I can, you know, just a new chapter, a new moment in my life. And I'm documenting it here. I do feel, and this is like advice that I got a long time ago from one of my coworkers that I worked with at Logo, Ray. I don't know if Ray watches my videos. I doubt it. But we had a conversation a long time, like years ago, and he's older than me, so it's like he's like very wise and he's super supportive, and he would always give me advice about, you know, gay shit and like whatever, you know, respect the girls that, you know, have walked the path before you, right? For all you younger queens out there. And he made this point to me that has always stuck with me, even years later, is that you're gonna get to a point in your life where you don't want to shake things up. You don't want to, you know, take risks, take a leap and whatever, mix things up and change your life and go crazy. He's like, you're gonna get to a point where you are happy and you're settled and you're good. And you're gonna wanna settle. And I don't feel like I'm there yet. So his advice to me years ago was, make the changes, take the leap while you can. You're young, you know, whatever, just do it now, because you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna be over it. And you're gonna find a place or a city to live in, or a job or a career path that makes you happy and makes you feel comfortable and makes you feel confident, and you're gonna want to just settle. And I'm not there yet, you know. I enjoy the career path that I'm on. My health is still a work in progress. I'm not ready to settle yet. So I'm gonna make that move again. Literally make a move. So that's just some advice that I wanted to share too, because it has stuck with me for years. I think that was like 4.5 years ago that he said that to me, and it's still stuck with me. I'm not in a relationship. I'm not committed to anything or anyone. So yeah, so that's my, ending advice. I wanted to share that advice that was given to me that has stuck with me, that I thought I would pass on and throw into the interwebs. That's pretty much it for this weekend chat. I was just looking around and I was like, I really do have so many memories here. Like so many good memories. The first thing I thought of was, I remember sitting here watching, it's probably because the Olympics are going on right now that I thought of it. I remember sitting here, right here, watching the 2012 London Winter Olympics closing ceremony with the Spice Girls performing. I remember, it was almost like I felt like I was there because it was so euphoric for me that I remember that happened here. I fostered a dog for 5 weeks here in this apartment. I hooked up with 2 neighbors in this building. That was on my, let me just tell you something. That was on my bucket list. Why not? Who lives here in New York that hasn't thought of that, right? Come on. So, that is a thing. I quit my job at Viacom and was in this apartment and then worked as a freelancer. This was my office, I'm trying to think of what else. It's been a journey, and it's been a chapter, and that chapter is coming to a close. And speaking of coming to a close, this video is going to come to a close, and I need to cut this up, get it up, post it, and get to work on packing and filling these bins up. And I don't think it'll be too bad. I think maybe I'll do a moving vlog where I film, obviously once this is emptied out, and the new place, you can see the new place. I'll do a little before and after moment, and we'll see next weekend if I've got electricity, wireless, and a space to set everything up. Then I will see you guys next week in a new apartment. And that's all. Thank you guys again for the supportive comments and the words of encouragement. And a lot of you guys on my last video last week left so many just really supportive, encouraging, change is good. Change is gonna help you grow. Just really nice, positive comments that really, when I was, now you see I'm getting a little teary-eyed thinking about it. When I was really, I was really overwhelmed and just really going through it. When I felt like I was making this huge mistake, and what I was there was at one point I felt just this pit in my stomach of what grave mistake have I just made? And just reading your messages on Instagram and on YouTube and in the comment section below, just really, made me feel so much better, and just reminded me to listen to my gut and listen to my inner whatever. Follow your intuition and the people who support you and the people who encourage you, and that it's good to make changes in your life if you need to. And so I'm gonna go. Got a lot of work to do, and I will see you guys it sounds so weird. I will see you guys. This is my last weekend chat, staring out this window with my Dunkin' on my desk here. I don't even know if this desk is coming with me, you guys. I don't even think I'm gonna have a whole setup behind me anymore. I don't know. Kelly. It's been good. She's coming with me though. Don't worry. She's gonna get bubble wrapped and she's gonna come. But, Kelly, Brittany, thank you for keeping me company here. We will find a good spot for you guys in my new apartment. Don't you worry. Thank you guys so much for all of your words of encouragement. I cannot express in words, which is why I'm still rambling, because I have a hard time expressing that kind of shit and being like, you know, sappy or whatever. Thank you. And I hope that my story and my sharing can help someone else out there, even if it's just one person. That's all that matters for me. And I'll see you guys soon with a new video in a new place. Oh my God, I should have a new special end song for this moment, right? Let me think of it. Dun, 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 dun. It's Britney, bitch. Dun, 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 dun. Pack your shit. Dun, 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 Dunkin' Donuts. There is a new Dunkin' Donuts by my new apartment. Don't, trust me. You guys, when I Google that shit before I saw that apartment, I was like, where's the nearest Dunkin'? Oh, 1 block away. Perfect. All right, bye for real. Bye, guys. It's Britney, bitch. Shake your tits. Dunkin' Donuts.